Hey, 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 you know what day it is. What day is it? It's Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. It's Tuesday Tea with D. 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 It's Tuesday Tea with D. Hey, it's your girl, D, your Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and I speak life mentor. Here with this week's a new serving of Tuesday Tea with D. And so I have a new setup here. I have a new screen. Hey, G Ben. Hey, Lady Adri. How are you, lovies? Um, we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and TikTok. And so I have my monitor here, my laptop here, I have TikTok here, and I have y'all YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook here. And so if I'm looking all over, I'm not sporadic or, spastic. It's just I'm looking at, comments over here, TikTok here, and then I actually have my notes over here. And so, how are you? If you are watching on Facebook, make sure you share this. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing to the channel, but make sure you like and comment on all of the pages. But also take the link and share it on your social media or send somebody a link and say, hey, girl, listen, Tuesday Tea with D is live. Get your booty in the place. Those of you who are on TikTok, you can share this as well and let the people know that we are live and in full effect. And so, hey, girls, hey, boys, hey, boos, hey, how y'all doing? It's really exciting to be live on all of these platforms, but it would be nice if I could just look in one place, but it's okay. If you all noticed when you came in, I have a new masterclass that is coming up, and I'm going to share this really quickly. It is coming up. It's next Thursday. It is called Know Your Limit. It is a workshop that I actually did about a month and a half ago at a women's workshop. As a matter of fact, it's one of my keynote talks. And so I did it last year for some college students around prioritizing themselves. And so about a month and a half ago, I did it for a women's conference. It is called Know Your Limit, Prioritizing You, Prioritizing Rest. I'll put the banner up for you all to see. If you're on TikTok, you can't see the banner, but the details are in my link tree. So if you go to my page and click the link in my bio, it'll be right at the top. And until Friday, this masterclass is $47, right? And so you'll be able to get in for $47. But let's talk a little bit about prioritizing you and prioritizing rest and why it is important. It's important for one, because I be hearing y'all talk about how tired y'all are, how you are not prioritizing you, how you are not making time for you, how you are not showing up for you, right? And a lot of it comes with knowing your limit. You don't know your limit. And so we had an amazing conversation and a dialogue at the conference. And so I really wanted to do this again. Obviously I do it everywhere, but I wanted to do it again. And so if that's something that you are interested in, you can go to the link in my bio, or you can go to my Linktree page / Trueheart Speaks in order to get the details. And like I said, it's $47 until Friday, and then it'll probably go up to $77. Most of my workshops and my master classes start at $97. So this is something that I think is extremely important for us to be having this conversation, because if I'm not correct, child, we are now more than halfway through the month, like more than halfway through the month. And so considering that we are more than halfway through the month, it's in the evening. So it's at 7:30. It's at 7:30 on next Thursday, 7:30 to 9. There will be a replay. So if you want limited access to the replay, then you can purchase. And then once the replay is available, I'll send it out and you can watch it. There will be a handout as well that will go along with it, so that you will be able to take notes. I mean, obviously, y'all know I give tons and tons and tons of content. And so this was a 75-minute workshop. And I went back and looked at my notes, and I think I have maybe 50 or 60 slides that we went through. And so we talk about the 7 types of rest. We talk about the barriers to rest, the barriers to prioritizing yourself, the barriers to showing up for yourself. So all of those things we talk about in that workshop. And so I love for you all to join me next week. If you are in the inner circle, I will also say, Lady Adri, my inner circle always get 15% off discount. And so if you go back, I won't say it here because y'all are not in the inner circle, but if you're in the inner circle, you can get access to that 15% discount. I will put that in the Telegram group for my inner circle people. If you are part of the incubator, then you'll automatically get access to all of my workshops that I do throughout the year. So I see you all coming in on TikTok. Hey, girl, hey, hey, boo, hey. Make sure you all share. Make sure you're hitting hearts. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 hearts. I think the last time we were on TikTok, we hit 10,000 hearts. So if y'all could give me some hearts today, I would love it. I think I also have a fan goal of 10. And so if you all can help with that as well, I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. But let's get into this tea. Let's get into this tea. And so really quickly, I will put the link of the masterclass in at least in this link for YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then for you, like I said, for those of you who are on TikTok around my Know Your Worth masterclass, I'll be back live on TikTok at some point to talk more about it. She said, I'll be signing up for sure. This is my struggle. Yes, honey, sign all the way up and get that inner circle discount, 15% discount. And so I put that in the link for you all to get that so that you have access to it. But again, like I said, you can go to my link tree and you can get the details. So let me put the other banner up. And so you all are coming in, say, hey, girl, hey, let me know you are here. I have not, hold on, let me share this. I got all excited about the masterclass. I got excited about TikTok and all the things that we're doing. And I did not share this. So let me share this on Facebook, at least on my personal page, and then in my groups. And then we're going to get into this tea because y'all know I remembered. This is our tea for today. So those of you who are joining on TikTok, and then even if you're new, right? If you're new here and you're joining Tuesday Tea with D, we've been going live since May. Now, let me just give you a quick history lesson. Tuesday Tea with D has been around since 2020. It was a pre-recorded, I don't want to say podcast, but it was a pre-recorded video or episodes that I used to do, still do, but that I would do. And I decided in May that we would start going live. And so I always share tea, but this time I'm actually talking to you about the tea. I'm showing you what the tea is. And obviously we do the testings and I do the tastings. And let me tell y'all, this tea today, honey, I tasted it. Oh, shoot. I done did it again, y'all. Hold on for a second. I done left it. I heated it up. I left it in the microwave. Give me a second. Okay, so luckily we ain't on TV, but honey, I got it. It's right here. Child, I do it all the time. One of these days, I'm gonna have the tea and I'm gonna have the tea and the tea. Child, I had to walk away real quick, child. But guess what? I'm human, and that's what we do. Hey, Valeria, how are you, lovey? Good to see you. Okay. So let's let's talk about this tea. First of all, this week's tea is winter citrus. This is from local company called Community. And at some point, child, I feel like I'm gonna start getting brand deals for tea. Like if you have tea and you want me to try your tea with my audience, honey, and share and listen. Not only do I share on live, but the people who come to my live events, people who are part of my community, like I share my teas with them. We did a community girls trip in Savannah. We actually went to one of the tea. We went to a couple of tea places, Honey and Tea, and they got a chance to buy their own teas. Listen. And so this is winter citrus. This was actually one of the teas that the ladies tried last year. So I have a live event, which you will hear about as well. You probably have already heard it. If you are following me at some point, you see all of my posts around I Speak Life Live, which is my 3-day transformational spirit-led event for high capacity and high achieving women. It is December 5th, 6th, and 7th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And every year we do what I call Tea Time with D. And so last year I introduced them to some new teas. And we had tea time, we had desserts, we did line dancing, we played games, child. It was so fun. So let's get into, and then this week's tea, honey, is an elderberry. It's as you can tell, it's empty, right? Y'all see it's empty. It is an elderberry with honey that I used in here. I didn't use any any honey. I mean, any lemon in this. And when I tell you, honey, and it's a lot in here. I wish y'all can y'all see that. I don't know if I can lift this up where you can see. Can y'all see that? How deep and dark that is. It's been steeping for a while. Oh yes, honey. Can we say good tea? Can we say good tea? I'm just saying, can we? Can we say good tea? This tea is so good. Oh yes. Oh yes, yes, yes. Are y'all why y'all not giving me hearts? Come on, click that screen on TikTok. All right. So let's talk about what's in here. So I had to take my glasses off because I'm nearsighted. And so my glasses are for farsightedness, and it hurts my eyes when I'm trying to read with my glasses because I can read without them. At any rate, the ingredients: natural dried apple pieces, hibiscus petals, rose hip and orange pieces, sunflower, safflower petals, and natural flavors. That is the winter citrus tea that we are drinking. It's the winter citrus. It is an herb and fruit tea, not a green, because there are green teas, white teas, black teas. Then there's an herb and fruit tea. So let me take another little sip of it before we get started. Yes, honey. Okay. We are good to. I'm about to invite all these people on here. Y'all come and join me. Let me see. They can join me live. I'm inviting everybody, y'all. Okay. All right. How y'all doing today? Can y'all respond in the chat? Let me know y'all good. Hey girl, hey, let me pull my notes up. And we're going to get started. Today's conversation is called What If You Left It All on the Table? What if you left it? Let me pull this up a little bit. What if you left it all on the table? And I'm going to actually it was prompted by a let's see here, we're live. It was prompted by a LinkedIn post that I saw a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to pull it up and just kind of share details around it, and we're going to get to this conversation. And so it was from Ariana Huffington, who, if you are familiar with the Huffington Post or Thrive Global, her post, initially it was the graphic, and the graphic basically said, keep asking yourself why not and why wait, and pursue all of your dreams with an unapologetic determination. We only have one life to live, and it's on you to live it to the fullest. And it was by a young lady quoted. Her name was Caroline Klein. She passed away this year, which I did not know until looking at this. And it said, deeply moved by these words from Caroline. And it says, at just 40 years old, she died after battling a rare aggressive cancer. And in her final message, Caroline leaves us with a powerful reminder to live fully, love deeply, and never wait to pursue what matters most. And so when I clicked on Caroline's message, one of the things that it talked about was this question: what if you leave it all on the table? And so I'm not going to read all of her message, and I'm just going to pull this here for a second so that I'm not like looking all the way over here. But she basically, the title of this, and it was August 22nd, 2025. I'm not sure when she passed away. But it says, if you're reading this, it's because my lungs have taken their final breath and my soul is on a thoughtful search for the next great adventure. And so, but at the top, it says, remember me for the way I lived. And there were a couple of things in here that stood out to me, which I share in my notes for today. And one of them was, stop waiting for permission to truly live, and started doing things that brought them joy instead of constantly focusing on satisfying the expectations of others. And she says, and so I wrote that down. Keep asking yourself why not and why wait, and pursue all of your dreams with an unapologetic determination. And so her message says, and then the message from the other post, it says, we only have one life to live, and it's on you to live it to the fullest. It says, so please try to see every day as a license to live, not just to pass time. She says, I was living at peace. I was at peace leaving the world, knowing that I didn't leave anything on the table and that I made a great impact on others around me. And so when I read that, and it's funny because that was actually supposed to be last week's conversation for Tuesday Tea with D. And when I started, we started talking about last week's conversation, I was like, man, like, I think I need to put this, we talked about living in answered prayers. I was like, man, I really want to talk about the other one, but I was like, I'll do that next week. And so here we are talking about, what if you left it all on the table? What if you left it all on the table? I really would like us to have this conversation because we spend a lot of time and a lot of there's just trepidation and this angst around, what would it look like for us to fully, right, authentically and boldly show up? And I'd love for you, those of you who are watching live, to be able to share in the comments what your response is to that, right? Like, what would it look like if you left it all on the table? What would it look like, if you were, not just doing some of the things, but doing all of the things, right? And can you say the same, that every single day you wake up, that you're living as if you're leaving it all on the table? Right? Are you leaving it all on the table? And I had to ask myself that question. Right? I don't necessarily know that I am. I think that there are some things that I have not been, I don't know. Like, it's like, Lord, are there things that I have not even considered that I'm not doing? Are there things that I should be doing, but I'm not doing? Like, in what areas of my life am I not leaving it all on the table? Whether it's as a mother, whether as an entrepreneur, whether it is as a coach, whether it is a speaker, a consultant, whether it's even just in my faith, like, am I laying it all on the line for Christ? Like, what does that look like for us to leave it all on the table? What does it look like for us to stop second guessing? What does it look like for us to be bold and courageous, as God told Joshua? Like, what does that look like for you? I'd love for you to share that with me, because life is like, tomorrow, for one, tomorrow is not promised. But even if tomorrow is promised, the question is are you still waking up, and are you still just barely existing in the space that you're in, or are you really showing up in the fullness of who God created you to be? What are your thoughts on that? Like, y'all quiet while y'all listening to me with this. What are your thoughts around, are you really leaving it all on the table? When all is said and done, and you look back, like, we've heard the quotes and we've heard the stories that, like, on our deathbed, depending upon how we go, right? But if we're on our deathbed and we're surrounded by, our family and friends or whatever, it's not, sometimes it's not the things that we've done that sometimes we have regrets around. It's the things that we haven't done. And my challenge to you is what are some of the things that you keep saying that you want to do that you have not done? And here's the thing, I'm not talking about, because a lot of times we will use, this conversation around, like, oh, like, well, I'm waiting on the Lord, I'm waiting to hear from God. Now, hear me as a preacher, teacher, minister, elder. I absolutely get it. However, when I step into this space as a coach, now I'm asking, is that you? Is that your fear talking, or did God really say that? Like, what is God really saying? Because there's some things that God has already given you authority and permission and access to do, and you're still not doing it. Can we talk about this? You're still not doing it. right? You keep saying you want to write the book, but you have not even started to type out the words for what you want to say. You keep saying, I just want to go like 120% in my faith, but yet and still you are not consistent at praying and fasting. And so what does it look like for us to leave it all on the table? Are y'all here? Are the comments working or not working? Because I don't see no comments over here. I see. I'm gonna take a sip of this tea. But what are your thoughts on today's conversation? Are you willing to leave it all on the table? And what does that look like? Like, seriously, what does it look like? What does that look like? Are y'all there? What y'all doing? Are y'all commenting and I'm missing the comments? Let me go into, let me see here for a second. Because I'm not seeing any comments and I just need to make sure I'm not missing any comments. Okay, I'm not missing anything there. And if so, then I'm just gonna keep talking. But y'all know I like the interaction. Hey Nikia, how are you, love? All right, let's see. All right. Okay. So it's people. Okay, so I'm not missing any comments. Y'all just quiet. Hey, Kyra Boo, how are you? Okay, so I'm not missing any comments. Y'all are just quiet. Okay, so that's fine. It's fine. So today's conversation, for those of you who are just joining in, is what if you left it all on the table? And so it was inspired by a post that I saw on LinkedIn. And her post was inspired by another post of a young lady who passed away this year. She was 40. And the question was, and I'll go back to this again, is, it says, she says, I was at peace leaving the world, knowing that I didn't leave anything on the table and that I made a great impact on the others around me. And so my question is can you say the same? Right. And so some of my notes say, are we living with the mindset and the posture of leaving it all on the table? When you think of certain people who you say, man, like they really left it all on the table. And I'm not necessarily even talking about, like, let's just say purpose and destiny, but like they just live a full life. And so like, can you say, like, at this point in time, that not necessarily that you're living without regrets, but like that, like at the end of the day, it's like, man, like I feel good about everything that I feel good about everything that I have experienced and the people that I have encountered? Or have you allowed shame or fear or guilt or embarrassment or whatever, right? Like I feel like even in this space, as I'm still like navigating going live, like those of you who are just joining in, hey y'all, but I forgot my tea again. And so I had to go get it because I'm like, child, we can't forget the tea. But even in that, I can walk away. Hey Melanie, how are you, Lovey? I can walk away from this knowing like I'm doing my part, right? I'm doing what I need to do. I'm showing up. This is where I feel like I need to be. And here's the thing, leaving it all on the table doesn't mean showing up perfectly. It just means that like you're showing up at 100%. You're not allowing, other people or other things to hinder how you show up. And I think it's important because we're already in mid-September. And so being it like that, we're here in mid-September, like what else is there for you to do that you have not done, or that you need to do more of, or that you need to stop doing? What do you need to take off the table? How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? And so here I say, you know, are we living with the mindset and the posture of leaving it all on the table? I said, now I'm not talking about doing all the things, but I am talking about doing the things that you're called to. Right. Tyra says, thank you for clarifying that. She says, because I always feel like it has to be perfect. And truth is, it doesn't. Child, no. Listen, if it had to be perfect, these last 2.5 months of Tuesday Tea with D, honey, they would have been scrapped. And the crazy part about how I love this is because I think it helps people to see the authenticity of like when you're starting out. And I'm grateful that our very first live session was called Start Small and Start Ugly. And guess what? You can start big and start ugly. Like at the end of the day, I'm really just concerned about you starting, but it's not about perfection. Like I literally, like before y'all came, it was maybe like a couple of people who were on, and I literally forgot the tea. Child, had warmed it back up in the microwave and I forgot it. We were live and everything. And I had to leave and go get it. Now, granted, I don't, you know, I mean, that's the grateful part about, you know, about the fact that this is not, you know, this is my show. How about I say that? I was gonna say it's not a show, but this is my show. And I think that when you have your show, your life, you can do it your way. And so, no, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like perfection is not required for the journey. Perfection is not required for what you leave on the table, right? I think excellence is. I think we do things in excellence, and so, like I had everything together, and the tea was sitting here for the longest time, and I think it was like 11:57. I walked away and was like, okay, let me just put it in the microwave, and then I'll come back. Child, I came back, I sat, I was calm. I was like, God, and it's so funny because I was like, dang. I feel like everything is just too good right now. Like and this is before I put the tea in the microwave, honey, go live, all excited, and it's no tea. So no, it does not have to be perfect. Hey, Stephanie, how are you? Yes, mid-September. We are already on the other side of September, y'all. We're already on the other side of September. And I should say the other half, I should say, not the other side, but the other half. We're in the last 15 days of this month. And so what does it look like? And I have this here. What would it look like if you laid it all on the table? Like in what areas do you feel like you've been holding back? In what areas do you feel like you're not like giving it 100%? And not because you don't have the capacity, but you're just holding back a little bit. Like you feel like, I don't think people can take all of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if they can take all of me. Well, are you okay with leaving here knowing that you didn't leave it all on the table? Are you okay with leaving here knowing that you could have given more, right? And again, let me go back to what I said here. I'm not talking about doing more. I'm talking about doing the thing that you're called to do. Right? Stephanie says, no, I have so much I want to work on, right? So what does that look like? What does that look like today? Laying it all on the table. What does that look like? What do we need to stop doing so that we can do more of what we need to be doing or what we desire to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that, does that mean that in some instances, if you say like, man, like, I feel like I really need to be spending more time with my family, then what does that look like? Like, do you need to make sure that it's on your calendar? Do you need to make sure that you're setting those dates? Do you need to be intentional with blocking out that time? Like, what does that look like? It says, oh, like, I really feel like I really want to do more traveling. Okay, so what can that look like for you? What can that look like? Maybe you can't go to Paris, but maybe you can take a 45-minute drive away somewhere. Maybe you can't go for 3 days, but maybe you can go for 1 day, or maybe you can go for an hour. Like, in what ways can you start doing things that allow you to say, I laid it all on the table. I loved fully. I lived freely, right? I expressed my faith boldly. Like, what does that look like for you? What does that look like for me? My question said, next other question says, would you be okay leaving the world in peace knowing you didn't let fear or people or your current circumstances keep you from fully showing up? Because I guess the question is I'd love to know, like, what are the things what's something that you have been wanting to do, but you have not done, or even maybe you're already doing, but you're not doing it at the fullest capacity that you know you could be doing it. Like, what is that? And what does that look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I read that and it spoke to me because I don't want to leave this world. And obviously, I'll be honest, I've impacted a lot of people. And so for me, this isn't necessarily about the impact of people. The work that I do, I get to impact some amazing people. This is not about that for me. It's just, am I doing the things? Like, it's been prophesied that I'm going to write multiple books. I've already written one book. It's right back there. For those of you who can see, it's there on TikTok and there on the other screen. And I'll be honest, I'm not pressed by prophetic words. I'll be honest. Like, some people be like, oh, I need a prophetic word. Oh, I need somebody to prophesy to me. Somebody to give you that's not who I am. I'm not that kind of person. I'm like, child, okay, well, if the Lord say, because okay. So I don't get like, oh, okay, so now I gotta go write me a book. No, I'm like, okay, Lord. But I've been asking the Lord, like, are there things, especially after I read that article, it's like, are there things, Lord, that I have not yet considered that I should be doing? What is my next book? What is the next thing that you have called me to do? How is it that you want me to show up in this space? You know what I'm saying? Like, are there ways that I can be more intentional about spending with my family and creating memories? And like, for me, I really want to go on a solo trip, and so I think it's like, leaving it all on the table isn't, again, necessarily about like purpose or, you know, writing books or whatever, but maybe it's like, I wanted to write a book and not to sell a million copies, but to say that I wrote a book. Like, maybe that's your thing. Like, I've always wanted to write a book. We'll write the book. Yes, Kia, listen, next year is the year that I'm going to take my solo trip. One year is my goal. Yeah, I would love to. Next year gonna be my first year. Now let me say this. I've traveled by myself, like, for business. Let me say that. And I had to think about it for a minute because I was like, but I have. I've traveled places by myself, excuse me, for ministry, for business, business/ministry, but I'm talking like just a solo, not like eat, pray, love, but eat, pray, love trip where I just go and it's me, myself, and I. Is no work, no nothing. I'm looking forward to that. And so, like, what does that look like? What does that look like for y'all? I would love to know that. What are your thoughts around what if you left it all on the table? What are your thoughts on leaving it all on the table? What are your thoughts on, have you impacted the people that you believe that God has placed you on this earth to impact? Are you doing the thing that you feel you should be doing? And if not, what do you need to be doing in order to do that? Because I was 49 years ago. And so I can't imagine not being here 9 years ago. But what I can imagine is I'm not going to take for granted that life is promised, but I've already prophesied to myself that I'm going to be here beyond 100. I want to see my son get married. I want to see my son have children. I want to meet my grandchildren. I want to be healthy enough to spend time with them, right? Like the other day, he and I were Googling the oldest person in the world. And I think she's, I think, over in Europe. I can't remember. She's not in America. She's 116. And I was like, that's going to be me. I always say, like, for me, I'm like, I'm going to be past 100. I'm going to live past 100. I will have my sight. I will have my teeth. I will have my hair. I will have my hearing. I will have the ability of my limbs. Like, for me, laying it all on the table is stewarding myself well enough to where I'm not waiting. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm waiting, but like, what is it that you're waiting for the right time for, that in some instance, like, you need to be moving now? Like, you're waiting for the right time, but what if now is the time? Like, what if the right time, for some of you, the right time was last year? I'm just saying. And I know, like, lately we've been having like these, these deep conversations, but these are the kind of conversations that I really want to have with you as a part of my community, because I think a lot of us are assuming we have more time than we do. And here's the thing, I was on a call last night, and I won't get into the details because it was a private call, but one of the things that I've been hearing consistently, and it was reiterated last night, is that God is redeeming the time. And here's the thing that I think is important. I think it is important for us to not waste the time that God is going to redeem, and to be intentional with how we're going to use the time that God is going to redeem. That we don't leave anything on the table with the time that we have. You know what I'm saying? And so, what if you left it all on the table? That's really that's my question to you. It's like, what if you left it all on the table? What if you stop second guessing yourself around the things that you desire and the things that you want to do? But like, what if you left it all on the table? And I'd love for you. Let me see here. I had pulled up a couple other notes that I had and I shared this in my social media, but it says too many of us spend our lives waiting for permission, waiting for the right time, waiting for someone else's approval. What if you stopped waiting and started living? What if you pursued joy instead of only meeting expectations? What if you kept asking yourself, why not and why wait? And actually went after every God given dream with unapologetic determination. At the end of the day, peace comes from knowing you left nothing undone, no words unsaid, no gifts unused, and no dreams buried. And so the question is, can you say the same, right? Are you living with the mindset and the posture of leaving it all on the table? I think, again, what does that look like for you? What does redeeming the time really mean? Well, redeeming the time means that, and I'll just use the example that was shared last night, is that what you've been doing, what you've been trying to do in 5 years, God can do in one. Which means that in all that time that you hit, speed up, right? Redeeming the time means like it'll seem as if you didn't have a whole lot of time, but you'll have more time. That makes sense? He will redeem the time, right? Time that you thought you lost, he can give it back to you. And it doesn't mean, obviously that, I mean, the reality is if you lose 20 years, or the time that it took you to do something in the last 10 years, he can literally do it. And it's the great thing that I love about God redeeming the time is that in redeeming the time that he can also accelerate what he wants to do in your life. You know what I'm saying? Valeria says, this is some good tea today. I was just asking myself the same things. Yeah. I just think that and so let me just say this. There is a lot happening in the world. Locally here, it's a lot happening. Like, just every time I'm on Facebook, honey, it's something new. And I think in some instances, you have to, thank you, Holy Spirit. In some instances, we have to not let what is happening in the world and what is happening around us. Now, first, let me say this. I think that we should be compassionate. I think that we should be considerate. I think that we should take things into consideration. But I also think that we should not let it stop us from doing the things that we want or need to be doing, right? So you see all of this stuff happening and you start thinking like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't. What's happening around you is not as long as it's not like affecting you. And I'm trying to be careful with how I say this, because if you say it the wrong way, then people be jumping on you. But the point I'm making is that, like, you still have, let me say, you still have an assignment, you still have a life, you still have purpose, you still have destiny. And what is happening around you and what is happening all around does not affect the fact that you still have to show up, and the fact that it can be a both and, that things can suck and you can still enjoy life. That things can be going bad in one area and you can still make time to jump to read or to do the things that bring you pleasure, to take your mind off of other things. It can be a both and situation. And so she says, okay, I guess. She says, I'm going to pray about that statement. God is not bound by time. We are time bound, which, again, when we say redeeming the time, it literally is, when you say redeeming the time and you say that that's the reason why he's not bound by time. And so whereas you think you're out of time, God can, in some aspects, when we say not speed up time, but God can speed up time, and he can bring you into a thing that you thought that that you ran out of time to acquire. Does that make sense? Like, in some instances, God can accelerate a thing, or he can bring you into a thing, because he's not bound to our time. So God doesn't run out of time. There is no time with him. And so if there is no time with him, where you thought, man, like, I never thought that this could happen, God can redeem it and bring you into it. Does that make sense? Thank you for the follow. And that's what that means. Like, because he's not bound by our time, where we can say, oh, like for example, you can say, man, like, I feel like these last 5 years have whatever, and I've been working towards, this and this or whatever. And God can say, okay, well, it's been 5 years for you, but because you spent this 5 years here, what feels like it took you 5 years here, I'm gonna do it in 5 weeks. I might do it in 5 days. I might do it in 5 hours, because he's God. Valeria says, I am declaring my latter shall be greater. Haggai 2:9. Just distractions to delay forward movement. The powers of the air trying to distract and delay the plans of God. He says, yes, God can manifest his plan for your life when you are ready for it. Yes. And I think when you say when you are ready for it, I think yes. But I also want to say, I don't want us to say, okay, I don't want us to be getting ready. And this is not towards you, Stephanie. This is just what you said. Because sometimes it says, okay, well, God will do X, Y, and Z while you're getting, when you are ready for it. And the reality is sometimes, God has to speed some stuff up because you're taking too long. You're taking too long. You still hemming and hawing. You still thinking about it. You still thinking it, wondering why you qualify for it. And God's like, I've already declared it yours. Now we're going to a totally different conversation here, but we can stay here because the other part is leaving it all on the table means that you got to stop hemming and hawing. Leaving it on the table means that sometimes you have to be ready before you think you're ready. Like you have to start before you're ready. Because sometimes when God finally gives it to you, or when you're finally in that space, sometimes you don't think you're ready. When God called me to do certain things, I'm like, are you crazy? Like, what do you mean? Like, what is going on? And I think we want to be careful in thinking that when God thinks we're ready, thinking it's when we think we're ready. We don't always think we're ready when God calls us to a thing. If we look at multiple stories in the Bible, God thought that they were ready, and they did not think that they were ready. They didn't think that they were qualified. Moses did not think he was qualified to go and talk to Pharaoh, right? Joshua didn't think that he was qualified. And it wasn't Joshua. Jeremiah didn't think that he was qualified. And so I think we want to be careful of the words that we use when we use certain things, not necessarily for ourselves, but for other people, because other people are like, okay, well, I'm not ready yet. And God's like, I'm not waiting on you. You've been ready. It's time for you to jump. It's time for you to leap. And so again, what if you left it all on the table? What if you eliminated the excuses? What if you what if you just said that despite my idiosyncrasies, y'all, despite what I feel like may in some ways complicate or disqualify me for what it is that I believe that God is calling me to do, I'm laying it all on the table because I trust him over me. If he says that I could do it, then I believe that I could do it. I'm telling y'all, they're like, what would it look like if we eliminated the excuses? If we eliminated what we feel like disqualifies us, even from not necessarily purpose or anything, but some of the stuff that we want to do. Like, I'm very clear that I want a boat and I want jet skis. Very clear that, and these are more materialistic things, but these are things that like I have been seeing lately, and God has been reminding me of dreams and conversations that I have had with him. And so I'm gonna get to you in a minute, Stephanie. And so it's like, what are some of the things that you're just like, I'm leaving it all on the table. Like, I've decided, like, I want to do this. And again, I'm not talking about doing things out of the alignment of God. Like, I always have to preface that, because if you don't know me, then you would assume that that's what I'm saying. But if you know me, you know I never say we're not doing anything outside of the confines and the will and the alignment of God, ever, ever, ever. Right? So when we say that, it's in alignment with the fact that we believe that this is where God wants us to be. We're in alignment with the fact that we believe that God is calling us to greater and bigger. We believe that God wants us to have joy. We believe that God wants us to experience joy. We believe that, like, in some ways it's like, sometimes you have to, despite what you have experienced and what you have had happen to you, that good is waiting for you. Great is waiting for you. Amazing is waiting for you. What if you left it all on the table? Stephanie says, I think I am ready. I never think I'm ready. I know God is looking at me sideways saying, girl, get off your tush and do it. Yes. And that's what your coach is saying too. Get off your tush and do it. Yes. Allow yourself to be stretched. Right. And leaving it all on the table also means allowing yourself to be stretched, doing things that you never thought that you could do. Right. Or doing it in a way that you never thought that you could do it. That's all. It's all of that. It's all of that. All right. So we can keep going with this conversation, but I will say this, and this is your assignment. This is your prayer journal prompt. And I want you to really just to sit, in silence, have some quiet time, sit with the Lord during your prayer time, and really ask yourself the question, what would it look like if I laid it all on the table? What would that look like for me? What would it look like if I laid it all on the table? And what would it look like for me? And I love for you to allow God to show you things that you never thought you could experience. Or that you could do. Yes, Tyra says yes. She says, I start feeling that stretch and then I start to pull back. No, lean into the stretch. That means that he's stretching you, he's enlarging your not only your territory, but he's enlarging your capacity and he's building you for where he's taking you. You know what I'm saying? And so do not pull back from the stretch. Not just Tyra, but everybody, whoever is watching you, do not pull back from the stretch. Part of leaving it all on the table means that you're going to stretch because you're stretching yourself to show up in a capacity that in some instances is beyond your comfortability. It's beyond your comfort level. What if you left it all on the table? Now, I don't even know if she is live here, but there's a woman on here where, and she may have just come across my page, but her name is Miss Kim Hale. If you're there, hi, Miss Kim. She's now, I think, 50. She's over 50. And I want to say a couple years ago, she left it all on the line to go pursue a career in dance and performing arts on Broadway. And so she moved from LA and she went to she's now in New York City. And I just came across her page. I used to see her on Facebook every now and then I didn't. And now I just saw her and it reminded me around leaving it all on the table. Like, what would it look like if you left it all on the table? And she did. And so she has a one-woman show coming up in October. She's been taking dance classes. She's been auditioning. And I want to say she was like 53 when she did it. I think she's like 56 now. And so a prime example of leaving it all on the table, like going for it. Now, I get it. Sometimes like, well, my circumstances are not like that or whatever. But as somebody who is going to be 50 next year, that encouraged me. Because a lot of times we feel like at some point there's a limitation around our ability to experience certain things because we are of a certain age, right? But what I have learned over the years, and I've been seeing this, is that there are more and more people who are coming into themselves at 40, 50, 60, even 70. And when we talk about redeeming the time or even just using the time that they have, building lives, careers, things that they are, what's the word that I'm looking for? That they enjoy, like finding pleasure and joy in certain things. And I think it's important for us to recognize that, again, there is no time like now, no time like today to consider what does it look like to leave it all on the table, to consider, first of all, to consider certain things that you may or may not want to do. And so let me say this really quickly. Those of you who have been to my live event, one of the things that we talk about is around writing things down and I give you space to dream. I give you space to think about your dreams and to reconsider dreams that maybe you had not thought about. And when I thought about this, I thought about the conversation that we're going to have in December around what does it look like really to lay it on the line. And this year's theme is called Breaking Barriers. And so, I'm not going to get into too much around what that looks like, but because I'm still in prayer around what the Lord wants me to share. But I think one of the things is we literally have to break barriers around our limitation and what it looks like for us to lean in to literally leaving it all on the table. Like sometimes it's like, man, like, I don't know if people can really take all of this. It don't matter if they can take all of it. The reality is do you want to leave this earth still? Like there's a saying, you want to leave this earth empty. And so in order for you to leave this earth empty, you got to be able to position yourself to leave it all on the table. You got to put it all on the table. You have to play your cards. You got to play every card. Play the hand that you were dealt. And more importantly, play it strategically enough to where that thing works to your benefit, even if it's not the hand that you would deal yourself. I think we just have to stop second guessing ourselves. I think that we have to stop limiting ourselves. I think that we have to stop living based off of how other people think that we should live. And I think that we need to step into the fullness, the boldness, the creativity, the innovation, the love, the joy that that we desire. So again, I could talk about this all day because I just can. I can talk all day anyway. Because that's just my gift, right? Like that's what I do. And so lastly, I will say this and then I will pray. I'm hosting a masterclass called Know Your Limit, and it is next Thursday, September 25th. It is from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is $47 until Friday. If you are part of my incubator, it is free. If you're part of my inner circle, it is 15% off. You'll have access to that code in the incubator. In the inner circle. But the other thing is it's around prioritizing you and prioritizing rest. And so the only way that you can leave it all on the table is if you start to prioritize you. The only way that you can leave it all on the table is also if you start to take into consideration what rest looks like in order for the temple that you have been given to hold capacity for the call and the things that you desire, which means that you have to know your limit. And so if you don't know your limit, I want to invite you to next Thursday's masterclass. The link is in my bio on LinkedIn. I put the link down here. I will do it again so that you all have it and so that you can join me next week, because I really think that it's important for you to know your limit. Most of us don't know our limit. Most of us, we supersede our limit. We find ourselves in burnout. We find ourselves in exhaustion. And so, again, leaving on the table also means that you got to be able to steward yourself well enough to be able to enjoy the things that you desire. So we're going to close out in prayer, and I will see you guys next Tuesday for Tuesday Tea with D. We're here every Tuesday. There's a couple of days that I'm out of town, which I think 2 weeks I'll be out of town. But I always let you guys know. But every Tuesday at 12:15, we're live for Tuesday Tea with D. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you, God, for this time. We thank you, Father, for this message of what if we left it all on the table. We have the prime example, your son, Jesus, who left it all on the table. He left no stone unturned, a world that was impacted by the work that he did with 12 disciples. And so, God, we thank you for that example. But some of us, God, we are in a space where we're wondering, what exactly does leaving it all on the table look like for us? Are there things that we want to experience that we have not even taken the first step to figure out what it looks like? Are there assignments that you have given us or placed inside of us that we have not explored, or maybe we have explored it, but we have not taken the first step to make it happen, whatever that looks like? Maybe we're like Tyra in a space where we lean into it. Then when we feel the stretch and we start to feel uncomfortable, we pull back. So I pray, Father, that we would lean into all of it. We would lean into the discomfort. We would lean into the stretching. We would lean into leaving some things behind. We would lean into deciding that some things are not worth leaving it all on the table. But what does it look like? As the young woman who passed away, Caroline, said, what does it look like for us to leave it all on the table, and know that we had impacted those that we were supposed to impact? And so whether we need to come out from hiding, whether we need to stop acting like we're not a big deal, whether we need to, tap into the gift and the calls, the anointings that you have placed upon us, oh God, I pray, Father, for clarity today. And so even as we leave this space, God, I pray that this question would resonate with them and it would sit on their hearts around how and what does it look like for me to leave it all on the table? What does it look like for me to leave this earth empty? Who am I called to impact? Who am I called to share and pour out into? I know that I have been poured into. Who do I need to be pouring into? Father, I pray that you would answer the questions. I pray that you would give insight. I pray that you would even give clarity. I pray, Father, that you would give it as a space of excitement for them to start thinking about things that they're like, man, like I actually really want to do this. I've been thinking about it, but this right here is telling me that like I need to lean into. Is there a season of preparation that has to happen in order for us to do it? What does it look like? I believe this young woman, she only had, I think, 2 or 3 years to live her life before she passed. And so, Father, I pray that because you have given us time, you've given us the gift of time, and we don't have a whole lot of time. We don't have infinity of time. There is a limitation. And so I pray, Father, that the dash that we have been given between the time that we got here and the time that we leave, we use it intentionally. We use it fully. We use it abundantly. We use it strategically. So I thank you, Father, for this opportunity to have this conversation. I thank you for this opportunity to be able, oh God, to bring servings of tea that may not always be sweet. It might be a little bitter, but more importantly, that just stretches us to be who you called us to be the highest version of who we have been called to be. And so I thank you for these conversations. And so as we leave this virtual space, but never from your presence, keep us and guide us, cover us under the blood of Jesus Christ, keep us safe from danger seen and unseen, keep us hidden from the hand of the enemy. Allow us to walk throughout this day today thinking, what do I need to do to leave it all on the table? How do I show up at work and leave it all on the table? How do I show up in my family, leaving it all on the table? How do I show up at church, leaving it all on the table? How do I show up in my community and leave it all on the table? How do I show up for me and leave it all on the table? What does that look like? God, I pray that you give us all clarity around that. And so we honor you, we praise you, we magnify you in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. I love it. Stephanie says, I've been resting more since I Speak Life Live. I love it. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So for those of you who don't know, my 3-day event is coming December 5th and 7th. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And we're less than, I think, like 85 days away from the event. And so if you plan on getting your ticket, listen, you got time, but listen, don't wait. Again, like leave it all on the table. Listen, you're like, man, I really feel like I want to go to this event. Then go. Stop overthinking it. Get your ticket and show up. Okay. Meet me next Thursday for the Know Your Worth Prioritizing You Prioritize Rest Masterclass, because honey, if that's you, then you need to get in the room. You are so welcome, Lovey. I'm so glad you were able to join me today. I'm so glad all of you were able to join me. But yeah, I've let all of the details for those of you who are on TikTok for my live event, as well as my masterclass for next week. It's in my profile and my bio, link in bio. You just click my link tree. And then for those of you who are here, I will put the details here. And so that you can have that as well. And with that being said, I will see y'all next week and next time on Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Tuesday Tea with D. Oh, so good. I'll see y'all next week. Have an amazing week.